Okay, thank you again, Lou and Katie and everyone for inviting me, us, or less, to this community call. And okay, so apologies for a very kind of cheap presentation. I only added like 4 slides, but hopefully the content will be engaging for you. So the impact study we're doing at OLAS, and I'm leading it, is still ongoing. So I won't be presenting any results here. Just I'm going to be telling you the approach we use to the analysis, we're using for the analysis, and why we chose this approach, which might not be very familiar to some of you, or might be, I don't know, but that's the idea with this presentation. The results of this study should be hopefully ready in a month time. So I'm going to share with you one insight, but apart from that, it's going to be only the method used and the rationale for using it. So I should have started with my name. So Katie pronounced it perfectly, but my name is Paz, and I've been working with OLAS for two years almost, since 2022. And I have had two roles with OLS, first as a coordinator for the cohorts, and then as a researcher, qualitative researcher. I have a background in social sciences, and I've been involved and interested in and involved with open science communities since 2017. So what is OLS? For those of you who don't know it, is a nonprofit organization that is based in the UK, but has a distributed team working from Nigeria, Argentina, in my case, and in Europe. And OLS focuses on capacity building and on researching open science, and also as an incubator for open leaders, or people who want to advocate for open science. And since 2020, OLS has been organizing cohorts for training in open science practices and for mentoring. So people who participate in the cohorts have this training part, but also have a mentor who help them grow and build their projects. And the last cohort was the 8th cohort. So we have quite a few people who already participated in the program. And well, the study I'm doing right now is attempting to understand in qualitative terms some of the types of impact that OLS has had in some of its participants, mentors and mentees. Often mentors and mentees also have other roles as facilitators and experts. And the objective has been or is to understand what's going on with them, what impact the program had, for the team to ask better questions, to introduce improvements, and to better communicate its work to the outside world. So right now, I'm currently in the middle of the analysis. So I don't know, you're seeing this, my crazy face, right? Okay, that is me. Basically, I'm doing that these days. I'm not going to show you the office here, but it basically looks like that. So after the analysis comes the writing. So I'm going to have little time for the writing, but hopefully I'm going to be sure what to write, so it should be easier. And so the approach that we decided to use, I say we because I consulted with the rest of the team, is called reflexive thematic analysis. You might have heard of thematic analysis, but maybe not about reflexive thematic analysis. And this approach has been developed by two scholars mostly, that are called Virginia Brown and Victoria Clark. And well, we really like the approach. I'm going to try to explain why we decided to go for this and not for a mixed method or for quantitative research. But before that, just quickly say what thematic analysis is. So thematic analysis is pretty well known, and it's been used for analyzing qualitative data in very different disciplines, social, behavioral, even applied sciences. And it emphasizes basically developing patterns of meaning, which we also call themes, between a data set, a qualitative data set. So these themes are developed by researchers through a process of getting familiar with the data, coding, theme development, and revision. Those are very general kind of the stages people go through. But thematic analysis more than one single approach is kind of a family or an umbrella term for different approaches for analyzing qualitative data. Sorry, that was my phone. Just gonna put it on silent. I should have done that before. Okay, and so these approaches can have that in common, finding patterns of meaning, but can be very different in terms of the philosophies behind and the procedures to get to the themes. I'm not going to go into details of the difference between these approaches, but just want to tell you a bit more about the reflexive and why thematic analysis and why we decided to go for it. So reflexive TA, I'm going to use that term, TA, thematic analysis, is very theoretically flexible, which means that it can be used with different theoretical frameworks, and you can really kind of address different questions with it. And you can analyze issues like people's experiences, perceptions, practices, understandings, but also factors that influence certain situations or phenomena. So basically what I've been doing and how reflexive TA gets done is through and this again is following this specific approach by Brown and Clark. So what you basically do is that you read and read the data set. In this case, in my case, I conducted 19 interviews, in-depth semi-structured interviews, and one focus group. So in total, I interviewed 24 people. And so first reading the data to get familiar with it. Before that, transcribing, which can be a pain. In my case, wasn't that much of a pain because anyways. But okay, I'm not gonna go in that direction. But you read the data, get familiar, then you generate the labels that we call codes, then capture important features of the data that hopefully are relevant for the research question. And then you generate initial themes, then you develop and review themes. This often you do it, or not often, but you could do it with other people in the sense, I'm going to be reviewing themes with some of the team members eventually. And then you refine and define the themes, and then you write the conclusions, which involve combining the analytic narrative, the data extracts, and then contextualizing the analysis with other theoretical frameworks you might want to use. I should have put this slide, by the way. But I'm going to go back to the other one because I have these notes in the other one. All right, but okay, so why we decided to use reflective TA and no quantitative or mixed method to do this? Actually, I didn't decide because I came after they had decided to do it qualitative. But the reason we decided to use, or I proposed to use reflexive TA, and they said yes. First is because there's a lot of literature supporting this approach. These scholars have written a lot, have done a lot, and so there are a lot of examples, and that might take us to think about the importance of open science, and not only in life sciences but also in social sciences. So there is a lot that we can, or I could refer to, and I could look at for examples and for guidance. But apart from that, a more deep reason might be that reflexive TA proposes or says that the idea of research is not finding a gap in knowledge. It's not that you're going to come up with an original idea, but about building the work with others and entering into conversations acknowledging the things that you took from others, but doing so in a very open and very transparent way. A lot of research in social sciences is done in ways that you don't know who were writing the paper or doing the research, or why they made the decisions in the way they did. In the case of reflexive TA, it's very important that we're very transparent about what we bring into the study, what and why, and also the collaborative aspect of it. So it's not that I'm doing the research with someone else, but it's important that the results and then the data as well is, and the process of how I did what I did is shared and open and transparent. So it's very dialectic in a sense, this approach, and this dialectic nature is very important for OLS. It requires community building, and it requires, going back and forth with your people. So that's one reason. It might be a bit abstract, but it's reflexive TA puts an emphasis on acknowledging not only your assumptions, your ideas, what you bring into the equation, and in ways that other approaches don't. And yeah, so that's one. And the other thing is, and it's similar but a bit different, is that a good reflexive practice, researchers need to think about what they're bringing, their assumptions, their biases. Although biases in this approach is not negative, as we are often kind of used to think of biases as something negative. In this case, is pretty. I mean, it's unavoidable, and therefore you need to be very open about it. But indeed, and because of this, and because I was a coordinator before, let me know if I'm going over time, almost 3 minutes. Okay. Because I came to OLS as a coordinator, I didn't come from as a researcher already starting interviews and trying to understand, evaluate things, but I came to be part of a community. So this idea of being very reflexive and very intentional about what I bring into the equation was very important, because I was a member of a community evaluating the community. And that was the second reason why we decided we needed an approach that could take that into account in a very systematic and kind of rigorous way, if you want. And these people are very systematic and very rigorous. There's a book this book is recent. They wrote another book before. Anyways, so I wanted to say that I don't think I said too much, but still I just went over. Anyways, those are the main reasons for use in this approach. So we're gonna publish the data, anonymized data, but we're gonna publish in Zenodo. But not only that, we're gonna publish a report on how all the parts of the process, how I did all the parts and all the stages, and how exactly I did everything. And we did, because in some parts, others are going to be involved in reviewing the first draft as well, and in reviewing the themes. So hopefully it's going to be very much, I mean, if someone wants to go and evaluate this study in itself, they can do it. That would be very good. But yeah, so that was the only thing I wanted to say. Then there was the last thing, but I have a few seconds, is that, but maybe I can say that in between the questions and answers. Anyways, I'm going to put it out there, but because I cannot share the results, or because the results are not there yet, but one insight was that one thing that came up in every single interview, and we weren't expecting that, was that project management is a huge thing for people. So just wanted to put it out there, because I asked Joe for permission. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you, people. Hopefully we can have a talk about this.